Iran, the nuclear threat is real. The way our relationship with Israel is strained, I think we're getting to a point where the Iranian nuclear facilities have got to be taken out at some point. Difficult job. If the Israelis, if you're president, the Israelis see the need that they've, for their national security, got to take it out, would you support them, and you think it's in our best geographic political interest to do so?
Well, first of all, I was the Grand Marshal of the Israeli Day Parade 10 years ago when, believe me, it was dangerous because there was a little war going on and a lot of problems. And I walked down Fifth Avenue, and Jewish friends of mine still remember that day. I have a park named after me in Israel that I donated. And I'm a big fan of Israel. I will say this, I don't understand. I have so many Jewish friends that are big Obama fans, and they're supporting Obama and giving tremendous amounts. Wealthy guys live in New York, wealthy, hedge funds, real estate guys. They're supporting Obama.
Why?
Obama's terrible for Israel. He's terrible for Israel.
I agree.
You know, it's interesting with Obama, too. If you look at Wisconsin, he made a pledge that he was going to march in Wisconsin. He was going to put on his walking shoes and march with those teachers. Where is he? He's all talk. He's all talk. Unfortunately, he's also action, but it's always the wrong action.
All right, let's talk a little bit. You mentioned recently that you're a Christian, that you go to church. How important is your faith to Donald Trump?
Very important. I'm a Protestant. I'm a Presbyterian. Very important. I'm a believer. I'm also, you know, busy and probably busier than I should be. But I am a Christian. I'm Protestant. I'm Presbyterian.
Pro-life?
I'm pro-life.
Gay marriage? Where do you stand?
I'm against gay marriage. And, you know, not easy to do in New York, but I'm against. And I have changed views on different things over the years.
Like?
Well, like pro-life. I was always torn by it. I was always torn by it. I'm very much, to take the other extreme, very much in favor of the death penalty, especially for terrorists and especially for people that, you know, killers that you see so many with the girls that are being killed and then they capture these guys. I am so for the death penalty. And I think as far as terrorism is concerned, death penalty with a speedy trial. Look at this. Look at the guy that knocked down the World Trade Center. They're still negotiating where. I mean, last week I heard they're finally going to try him in a military camp. This is after years.
Military tribunal.
So he'll go for years and years, probably die of old age before they even try him. I'm for speedy but fair trials. Fair. But speedy trials, speedy.
You support military tribunals over bringing him to New York?
Absolutely. I think it would have been a mistake. What's the purpose of bringing? First of all, what's the purpose of bringing him into New York? You'll have riots. You'll have this. You'll have that. You have the military. Our military is great. The other thing I do, I wouldn't cut the military. If anything, I'd increase the military. We would have, with me, the strongest. I hate when they say we're going to cut the military. Why? Because China's taking all our money. Because Colombia, little Colombia. They made $4 billion on us last year. Colombia in South America, fourth largest in South America. They made $4 billion.
Who are past presidents that you admire most?
Well, I really liked and knew a little bit Ronal Reagan, and I really liked him. You know, not only his policy, he's a smart guy, but so much smarter. You know, I always sort of have to laugh to myself when people try and criticize that level of intelligence. And I loved his style. I loved what he represented for I said, there's our president. I would see him sometimes. He once gave a speech, I think it was at the Lincoln Memorial, and he was dressed in a tuxedo, and I said, you know, there's something to that. There's our president. I thought he represented something very special for this country. And it was a much more special time. What I loved also about him, it was no games. When Jimmy Carter lost the hostages, when they were in Iran, they'd still be there. And Reagan said, essentially, they will be back the first day, or they will let go the next day.
They were afraid of him.
Because, as I say, it's the messenger. People say, what would you do to OPEC? There's plenty you do. They wouldn't even be there if it wasn't for us, okay? So they say, well, what would you do? It's the messenger. You know, I have business people that I deal with all the time. I can send one guy into a room and then another guy into the room, say the same thing. One guy comes back with the bacon, the other one doesn't, all the time. It's the messenger.
You would drill in Anwar. You'd drill in the 48 states.
Absolutely.
You would build nuclear facilities.
Absolutely.
You build refineries.
Now, I will tell you this. Nuclear, and I always say that you have to be a little bit flexible in life. You can't just say, boom. I'm a big driller, okay, and with care. You know, I've gotten many environmental awards. I build these great golf courses. I build great buildings. I get a lot of awards for what I do. So I know the environmental thing probably better than anybody. I also know it's carried to an extent that's absolutely insane. I mean, I've seen jobs stop that would have employed thousands of people, but they can't because there's a piece of grass that they found.
Oh, there's a turtle egg.
Well, I have seen incredible developments with tremendous job-producing capabilities stopped many times because of swamp pink, a little piece of grass like this that doesn't even look good. Okay, I mean, I've seen things stopped environmentally that are absolutely, and I also know, see, I really play the game at a very high level. I have many environmental consultants, and when they come to me and tell me why we can't do something and why we have to do this and why we have to do that, and then they laugh, and I say, this is ridiculous. They say, yeah, but that's how we make our money. And they go up to Albany and they go to Washington and they make it impossible so that we have to hire them in order to get around all these rules and regulations. It's hurting our country. You go to China, they're filling in a section of the ocean to build a city. I say to the guys doing it, how long did it take you to get your environmental permits?
A week.
They don't even know what I'm talking about. They go, this is the ocean. You know, they're filling in a section a quarter of a mile by a quarter of a mile. Big.
And that to build the
and I
casinos?
say, in order to build other things, a lot of things, buildings, in order to build cities. But when I say, because we're so used to it. You know, if you drop a pebble into the Hudson River, you get the electric chair, okay? A pebble. So here they are filling in. You see thousands of trucks, just truck after truck. I mean, literally thousands. They have dump trucks lined up miles long, dumping, dumping, dumping. And we don't see that in this country.
If I cut down a tree on my property, I got a $15,000 fine.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
But you see this, and I say to these guys, how long did it take you to get these approvals? Because, you know, growing up in this country, they don't even know what I'm talking about. They said, Donald, it's the ocean. And they're right. It's a speck. It's so little you can't even see it from, you know, from our great space platforms that we used to have.